Hey, Ashley. Thanks so much for joining tonight. We're here today. We're going to talk about resumes.
My name is Ashley Houle. I am currently a talent acquisition supervisor at Hollstadt Consulting. And what that means is that I am on the recruiting side for a IT consulting firm. I've been in recruiting for about 10 years now, and I have experience working with candidates with a wide variety of backgrounds. My passion is helping people find that perfect fit for them. So I get super excited when I can find someone a role that fits not only from a hard skill, but from a soft skill and culture standpoint as well.
What is the most frequent mistake that you see within resumes?
Yeah, so I think resumes can be very controversial, right? So everyone has a different opinion on how they should look, how long they should be, how many years of experience to include. But one of the most common mistakes that I see in resumes is a lot of spelling and formatting errors. So you want to make sure that your resume has a consistent format, and you want to make sure that you proofread your resume before you send it out. It probably also wouldn't hurt to have someone else proofread it as well. When I work with people on their resumes, I tell them to put everything in past tense, even their most recent role. I feel like it comes across as more consistent and a lot easier to read. Another mistake that I see a lot of is that people will use accomplishments that were done as a team or as a group versus what they did themselves. Mm-hmm. I always tell people when they're writing their resume to think about, okay, if I won $1 million tonight in the lottery and I didn't come to work tomorrow, what would not get done, right? So what are those things that you have done day in and day out that you want to showcase on your resume that not that you're doing as a team, not that you're doing as a group, really individual one-on-one, what does that work look like?
If a candidate asks you if they should have multiple forms of resumes, what would you say? Do you recommend that?
Yeah, I would say definitely. If I think about my career, I am capable of doing, multiple jobs within recruiting. And so if I were looking for a new job, I probably would have a few different resumes. And so the same is probably true for a lot of people. When applying for a new role, you should also have a separate resume for each role that you apply for. At Hollstadt, we format everyone's resume and tweak everyone's resume to the job that we are working with them on. And I think that everyone should do the same, even if they're not working with a recruiter. You really want to make sure that your resume shows how you fit the required and preferred skills. Especially now when there are a lot of people looking, you need to show how you stand out and are fit for that role. One of the main things is that sometimes when you're applying for a position, your resume will just get put into an applicant tracking system or some type of candidate manager system. And before a hiring manager even looks at your resume, it will scan the resume for keywords. And if you don't have those keywords that are on the job description in your resume, you won't get passed on to the next round.
Numbers, time. Why do you suggest that people put those in their resumes?
Yeah, definitely. I think being able to show measurable results is key in writing a resume, and it really shows to the hiring manager, whoever's looking at the resume, and how you can help them, right? So anything or anytime you're able to add, ROI, time saved, money saved, will show how effective you've been in a role. If you have experience managing a budget or managing resources, you also want to make sure those are listed in your resume as well, because those are really key tangible items that you can show directly how you impacted the organization.
You mentioned the top bullets. I know that at Hollstadt, we go above and beyond and really do a summary of how it matches to that position. Do you recommend other people doing that?
Have a summary and really kind of summarize at the top of why you're fit for the role is great to do. Really looking at those desired skills, the required skills, and anything you can add to the summary of a resume that really shows a quick impact of what it is that you've done, I think will just go above and beyond.
If people are looking for resources to help with their resume,
there are people that have resume writing services that you can hire. So that's, one option if you really need help writing it. Especially now during COVID, there's a lot more resources that are in HR and recruiting. They're especially willing to help review resumes as you're going through that job search process. If you're watching this and would like someone to review your resume, I'd be happy to help as well. As a recruiter, I want to help anyone I can. A teacher or, a bartender looking to get into a new industry and you want to have someone look at your resume, I'd be happy to do that for you. Another thing is YouTube and Google are also amazing resources, and there's a lot of articles and videos out there that can help with resume writing. But my best advice would be to try and create your resume on your own. You know yourself best, and you know what it is that you've done and what you have accomplished, and no one can really write that except you. Someone can help you format it and make it look pretty, but really the content of that really should come from you, because you're, like I said, you're best at what you do and you know what you've done. And last thing you want to do is have someone else write your resume that's not true. You get in an interview and they ask you a question about a bullet on your resume and you have no idea how to respond to it because you didn't write that.
Even if you're not looking for a job, you're really in a stable environment, keep on updating that resume once in a while, because we don't know when you might want to get into a different industry or an unfortunate situation happens, especially within the market today. And it's also a good way to keep a brand book of yourself and kind of giving yourself kudos on what you're accomplishing day in and day out.
Updating your resume probably, every quarter is probably a good practice to have, because there are projects you work on. There are things that you do that, a year from now, you're going to forget, or in 5 years, you're not going to. And then I'd say my other, piece of advice is really just format your resume for each role that you're applying for. Like I said before, it's really important that you're tailoring it and showing that you put in the time and effort to show why you're a fit for that position. And let people know that you're looking, right? I mean, there are a lot of people out there that want to help, that are currently employed and want to help how they can. And so just getting your voice out there and saying, hey, I'm looking for X position. If you know anything, let me know. And then most of all, just be you. Being authentic and being your true self goes a long way. And so know who you are, be confident, you've got this.
One last question I do have, and I've heard this from a couple people. They're hesitant with working with staffing firms. Can you help me myth bust this one?
Of course I can.
Great.
Yeah, I hear that too. And I think that there's a misconception that, headhunters or agency recruiters or whatever you want to call us, that we're, sleazy, in it for money. That's not me. I don't think of my consultants as a number, right? Like they're not just a paycheck to me. If you're looking to work with an agency, do your research, right? So, understand, what does their interviewing process look like? Are they located locally here in Minnesota? If you're local, what clients do they work with? What are those relationships with? What is the sales team like? Like, you're able to ask those questions while you're interviewing with the consulting firm, because as much as we want to work with you, we want to make sure that we're the right fit for you and you're the right fit for us. Hollstadt's been in business for 30 years. We have 4 core values that we live by daily. First, understand, being humbly confident, do the right thing, and grow and prosper. And I can tell you that those are values that we live by daily at Hollstadt. Kate, you're nodding your head. Every interaction we have, we think of those things.
Yeah.
So really just doing your research and getting a good feel and understanding for those firms and who you're working with.
We're all here to help. And in this time, I really hope that all of this information helps everybody get a clear idea on how they should format their resume. But thank you so much, Ash, for sharing all of the wealth of knowledge that you have. You're an outstanding recruiter, so I'm happy to have you here.